Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast with Michelle Chalfant, a place to delve into who we are, how we got that way, and explore what it takes to be a healthy grown-up. With an extensive toolbox and guests with varied expertise, Michelle will lead us on a journey to learn what it's like to live authentically and to love ourselves just the way we are. And now, here's Michelle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast. I'm Michelle Chalfant. So happy to be here with you, as always. Welcome to podcast number 195 on this January 30th. I can't even believe it. 195. We're almost at 200. Also on today, on this lovely January 30th, I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, doing the Adult Chair live event for 3 days here in Charlotte, one of my favorite cities. How are you guys doing with your month? I can't believe we're almost done with January. It's kind of crazy that we're moving this quickly through the year already. Today, I'm talking with you about anxiety to panic to peace. Wondering if this title grabbed your attention. I'm sure it did. Yes, I'm going to tell you guys, how you can go from anxiety to panic, maybe even a slight panic attack, to peace. I did it in 20 minutes because I had this experience and I'm going to share it with you. I love to give you tips and tools that help you to work through things quickly. And I'm going to give you six tools that you're going to use to get yourself out of anxiety, panic, and into peace. Something happened to me just the other day and I said, oh my goodness, I better share this with my people in the adult chair. Yeah, I'm going to walk you right through it. So anyway, I want to say a big shout out and a welcome to all of our new listeners. I know we have quite a few of you. And if you want to learn more about the show, just go to theadultchair.com. You can go to the podcast page. And if there's a topic that you would like to hear about, just go to the search bar and put it right in the search bar. You'd be amazed at what I've done shows on. Just about everything. Just put it in the search bar and the shows will all pop up based on that keyword search. You can always follow me on social media. I have Instagram at Michelle Chalfant. And of course, we have Facebook. I have a Michelle Chalfant page, but also the Adult Chair closed group. We'd love to have you in there. All right, I'm going to jump into this, but I first need to have a little shout out to our sponsor for today, Care Of. They are a wellness brand that makes it easy to maintain your health goals with a customized vitamin plan that helps you feel your best today and supports you long term. So let me ask you something. How are those New Year's resolutions going? Because most of us, we have forgotten what they were by now. But here's the thing. You can set a resolution that you can keep. So why not make 2020 the year to prioritize you and commit to staying on top of your health? Care Of, they have the most delicious protein powders. They're made of real ingredients that you can recognize. That is key, by the way. When you're putting anything in your body, you want to recognize and be able to pronounce what you're putting in there. And these protein powders are exactly that. They have things like organic cocoa in them, pink Himalayan sea salt. We all know what that is. Very, very important. And as you know, when you're trying to pick the right vitamins and supplements, it can be so confusing and it's hard to even know where to start and what to pick for your own health needs. This is why I absolutely love this company. They have made health easy because they've developed an online quiz just for you. So you take this very short, I think it took me 5 minutes maybe, the online quiz, then you answer some questions like about your diet, your health goals, and your lifestyle. And Care Of will recommend a list of vitamins and supplements specifically for your health needs and goals. You guys, this makes picking vitamins and supplements so easy. This is what sold me on this company. I love them. And here's the thing. You can get 50% off your first Care Of order. All you got to do is go to takecareof.com and enter adult50 and you get 50% off your first Care Of order. Okay. Go to takecareof.com and enter promo code ADULT, ADULT 50. Okay. Jumping right in. Let's talk about how we go from anxiety to panic to peace. And again, if you haven't heard me say this before, I am someone that actually lived with anxiety for many, many years. And I remember getting my master's and going through school. Like, I didn't know what that feeling was until going through and getting my master's. I was like, oh my goodness, I think I've been living with anxiety most of my life. I didn't even know what that was. So probably for my teens and my 20s, that's how I lived with that nervousness. I'd oftentimes have shortness of breath, but it was like daily knots in my stomach and nervous stomach ache and slight panic sometimes. And I want to say this just on a side note. I'm not going to take a big tangent here, but I find also, this is a little side note. I really need to share this. If you're someone that lives with anxiety, I just want to remind you, especially being an empath, which is someone that really feels the emotions of other people and just, it's an energy that you're feeling. Remember, emotions are energy. So if you're someone that wakes up with anxiety one day, I want you to know something. If there's something going on in our world, for example, the Australian fires, that creates a lot of fear in the atmosphere. It's a lot of energy. Remember, everything is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, everything is energy. So if people are feeling a lot of fear, let's say because of these fires and these poor animals that were all dying, everyone I was talking to was like, oh my God, this is devastating and people are losing their lives and these fires are so awful. Those thoughts, those emotions, they go into our atmosphere like clouds in the sky. And if you're an empath or someone that is sensitive to energy, that can create a feeling of anxiety within you. In other words, it's not specifically your anxiety. It's not because of something you're thinking or something that's going on inside of you. You're picking up on an energy that's in the atmosphere of fear, of distress, of animals dying. So you pick that up and then you will feel anxiety if you're someone that's very sensitive to energy. I've lived my whole life like this. This is what it is to be an empath or a sensitive person. So just know, don't buy into as if it's your anxiety. You have to know that it's something that you're picking up on that might not be yours, but it's just you're sensitive to it. So that's just on a side note for anxiety. I work with a lot of people that think they have anxiety and they're just extremely sensitive. So we really want to get better at working with understanding, like, is it my anxiety or is it someone else's anxiety, or is it something in the atmosphere? So that's just a little side note. This is why I did a whole meditation for you guys. It's free on my website and on YouTube on the empath meditation. It cleans out your energy field and takes that anxiety away. So again, side note, everyone should try that meditation, by the way. It's a good one for clearing yourself off, even if you're not an empath. So, okay, back to my podcast here. Okay, so from anxiety to panic to peace. So here's the thing. I woke up probably about a week or so ago and I had slight anxiety. I was like, this is interesting. And my first thought was, hey, maybe it is the fires. Maybe it's something else. I'm not sure. But I'm just going to see where this goes. It was like a slight nervous stomach ache, but I noticed throughout the day it got a little bit worse and a little bit worse and a little bit worse. So I meditated. I'm doing what I think I should do. I sat and meditated. I'm like, I'm just going to meditate for 20 minutes or so. And I meditated. But as I did it, I found that my thoughts were moving really fast, which, as you know, we all have thoughts that move fast some days. And this was one of those days. But I felt like the meditation didn't help, like, in the least bit. And I thought, did I just meditate from my adolescent chair? Like, it was something I should do. Meditation helps. So I sat down to meditate, got up, and I go, well, that didn't really work. But it was the only thing that I thought of to do in that moment. I'm like, okay, well, I think I was working that day. So I was kind of busy. And I thought, well, I got the meditation and let me just see where this anxiety goes. So went through my day. The next day I woke up and it was worse. And it was a lot worse. And I said, I don't know what this is. This does not, I said, I'm going to go walk. I'm going to get in nature. That's one of the things that helps me to really purge. I done a meditation, of course, to clean off my own energy field. And then I thought, it's still there. It's getting worse. And my thoughts were rampant. That's how I knew. I'm like, you know what? This is my anxiety. This is not anything else in the atmosphere. This is really mine, because my thoughts were going really quickly and fast. So I went for a walk. And as I got curious. I was like, okay, what's going on? I was like, gosh, I have so much fear. And the more I opened up to it and the more curious I got, the more I could feel the anxiety, it was strengthening. And this like paralyzing fear was taking over my body. It was really even hard to breathe when I was walking. And I'd have some things going on in my life that typically don't stress or worry me because I really have gotten to a place after all of these years of living my life of trust. I really work on embracing trust that even when things look scary or don't look good, that I'm going to still trust that in the end, it's going to be for the best. And I truly do my best to live in this place every day. But this particular day, I could not find any trust. It was out the window. I don't know where it was. It was not anywhere near Michelle, that's for sure. So my ego was full on. It was like my ego had gone rogue, as I say. And man, the thoughts that had some fear were dominant. They were dominant in my mind. And I was just going. It was like all these little small things that I had thought about were piling up in front of me. And it was like an avalanche of thoughts coming at me at the same time. So there's some things that are going on in my life, and I'll share with you some of those things that were stressing me out and creating so much worry and panic. Again, you may listen to my stuff, you guys, and go, well, that's not a big deal. But for me, and this is what we do with other people, we go, well, that's not a big deal. But for me, this has been very distressing and worrisome. And that particular day it was. But as I was going through each day of my life, as I thought about these things, they weren't so big. But for some reason, they were piling on like an avalanche this particular day. So I've been interviewing new mentors for my business or for myself. And what I realize is, which I'm going to do a whole podcast on this too, I feel like we grow into who we are to a certain point, and then we hit this like glass ceiling. And I'm like, okay, my business is growing. I'm continuing. I have to keep growing with my business, but I feel like I've hit this glass ceiling. So I'm looking for mentors to help me with that, to push through the glass ceiling. And these mentors, man, their goals are pretty lofty. And I realized like, oh, that's kind of scary. But, had some interviews with various people. I'm like, well, that's kind of scary, but then I let it go. But this particular day, all the fear from pushing through a glass ceiling was piling on top of me. Then I've got my older son who's graduating from college. He's more than likely going to move to New York City. My younger son, I think I shared this with you guys before, is wanting to go to Washington University, meaning University of Washington, as in like the opposite side of the United States from New York City. So I have one son in one extreme northeast position, the other son in the extreme northwest. So I'm like, oh my God, my family's going to be like all over the United States or in two different places. So that's a little bit like, oh. So I've been saying for the last month or so, like, wow, like if this really happens, like you guys are going to be far, like really far. So that's been happening. But again, that particular day, that was piling on, and all my fears and worries and sadness was piling on. And then my husband and I, since my kids have moved out, we've been having a lot of really raw, honest conversations about our marriage, about what we're going to do in our future, which again, it's been fine day by day. But this particular day, every fear that I had around that was piling on, and wondering like, oh my God, what if we're not together? Where am I going to move? If we are going to be married, where are we both going to move? One kid's here, one kid's there. My family's in Charlotte. What are we going to, my brain was going so fast. We sold our home last year, and my gut is, because we're renting now month to month, but my gut says we're moving. Like we are out of here by September. I keep feeling that very strongly intuitively, and I'm fine with it. Again, when I'm in my flow state, but this day I was like, oh my God, where am I moving? I don't know where I'm moving. So all of these thoughts, I think you get the gist. And there were many more, which I'm not going to bore you, but those are the big ones. All of these thoughts. And if you think about the things that these thoughts represent, it's like the foundation of my entire life. Think about it. I'm living right now in a home that we're renting month to month. So my home is like, I don't know, where are we going to live in a few months? That's really scary. My kids are moving, and I'm cherishing this time with them, like when they're home. But then when they come home like for a weekend, but then when they're going to be gone, I keep saying, you guys are going to be gone. And I said to my younger son, you're going to move out west. You may never come back here, like ever, to the East. My older son even talks about moving to New York and then moving to Europe. I'm like, oh my God. So all of this stuff, my business, like everything in my life that's foundational, that feels safe, feels like it's upside down. So it tripped out my ego clearly and threw me in my adolescent chair in a big way. And so on this walk I'm taking, trying to like get clear and get curious, the more I tuned into what was going on, the more, the faster my mind was going. I mean, my freaking brain was kicking things out like a million miles an hour. And it was kind of like, it reminded me of a bonfire. Like if each thought were a stick, it was like every thought that came in was throwing another stick or a giant log on this fire. And it turned into a freaking huge burning inferno by the time I walked in the door and I got home. And I got home and it was hard to even walk, you guys. I could barely breathe. And I sat down on the couch and I started sweating. And my anxiety that I had, like the little anxiety I had had the morning or two before, had turned into what felt like to me, because I've had one before. I had a panic attack, a full-on panic attack about 8 years ago. And I will never forget it because it was terrifying. It felt like I was having a heart attack and it was terrifying for sure. And I sat on my couch when I got home from this walk and I said, holy crap, this is turning into a panic attack. Heart racing, sweating, couldn't breathe. And I said, oh my God, this is not good. I don't like where this is going. And I say this so truthfully. I said to myself, I really say this, thank God for the tools in the adult chair because it got me out. This is what got me out in 20 minutes. Honestly. Unfortunately, of course, it took me a couple of days to get out of this anxiety. But when this panic attack hit, I was like, I got to get out of this, or borderline. I would say it was not a full-on panic attack, but it was like all the signs started happening. And I said, okay, wait a minute. And what happens is I want you to remember when all of this is going down, I was trying to get in my adult. I was like, okay, so let me go get curious. Let me go for a walk. Like that was conscious. That was adult me coming in going, okay, I know I need to be outside. Let's just make sure this is even my anxiety. I want to make sure it's coming from within me. Let me tune into the thoughts. But I needed my adult in a big way. I needed that dominating energy of my adult to come in and anchor me into reality because I was not in this current conscious state of the adult. So I said to myself, I need my adult. And I said it out loud. I stood up in my family room because I was on the couch, like in this like very panic-stricken state. And I said, I need my adult. And it's funny because when I do that, and I said it a few times, like, I need my adult and I need it right. I need her to come in right now. And remember, the adult energy, that's that higher self, clear powerhouse energy that comes in and just comes in and down through us and anchors in and grounds in. It feels like I'm calling Superman when I call my adult. It's like, I need my adult and I need her now. I need her now. I need my adult. And I felt the energy start to change within me. This is how we wake ourselves up out of a dream. Because when we're in anxiety and going to these panic places, it's like we're in a dream state. We're in that unconscious state, emotionally speaking, and we're stuck in the ego. The ego has really gotten a grip on us, and we need to get out of it. So we need to change our state. So physically, I stand up. And I pace around the room and I'll stomp my feet. I'm like, I need my adult, not in a temper tantrum kind of way, but in a very anchoring, like, I need my adult and I need her now. And even if you don't know what your adult energy feels like, just try this. It's powerful. So this is what happened next. So the number one tool is to call in your adult. Okay. Because what you're doing is you're getting yourself conscious. You're waking yourself up out of that dream. So that was number one. And I started feeling things shift. Number two, we need to step into the moment with mindfulness. So I walked over to my window and I looked outside. And this is the cool thing. When my adult comes in, all of these ideas started coming in as well. So I knew, like, walk over to the window. I have a lot of trees in my backyard. And I was like, okay, even if you don't have trees, look at anything. Look, if you're sitting inside, look at something across the room. Get in the moment. And I looked at the trees out in my backyard, and I looked at the bark, like the individual bark on the trees. I was like, okay, look at that. Bark is a little different than that color. And I was zoning in on the tree bark. And that was pulling me more into the moment again. Then that was step number 2. 3, as I'm looking at the bark on the tree, I placed a hand on my belly and began to take long, slow, deep breaths to slow everything down in my mind and my body. So understand, to get ourselves out of this panic, you've got to slow the body down. That's key. So when I put my hand on my belly and intentionally took slow, deep breaths, remember the belly breath. It's very important that when we inhale, the belly comes out. And when we exhale, the belly goes in. That activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which I'm wanting to do in order to calm down and release those endorphins. So I started doing that. I'm like, okay, slow it down. Slow it down. Number 4, as I started to slow everything down, this is what happens now intuitively for me. It just naturally happens. If it doesn't naturally happen for you, I would invite you to try this. I started to sway back and forth, left to right. Very slowly, rock or sway. I really love this. I'm doing it now. I'm realizing as I'm talking, but my nervous system loves this because that's what we want to do. We want to regulate the nervous system. So again, I can slow my mind down. I can stop those thoughts, but my body is still in panic. So breathing, doing the belly breath slows me down. Number 4, swaying, rocking. Some people prefer to rock or sway very quickly. That's better for them. For me, I slow it down. I don't know what's true for you. You have to try this. Some people cannot stand to rock or sway, so don't do that. Some people rock forward and backwards. Sometimes I find myself doing a figure 8, doing that infinity symbol. Do what works best for you. This is you discovering what's best for you, your body, your nervous system, your mind, all of it. For me, that's what I need for the nervous system. Number 5, the next thing I did, this truly happened to me. I then did this. I placed my hand on my heart and the other hand still on my belly. And I said to myself, I'm okay. And I said it really slowly. I'm okay. I continued to just slow myself down. So I'm rocking, I'm looking at the tree, and then I'm just kind of looking out over the backyard. And as I was looking, I remember thinking, like, I just love my nature and I love the backyard. And I'm looking out there and I'm looking at the blades of grass and I'm rocking. And I'm saying to myself, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. Everything was slowing down. Then after just a couple minutes, I felt the thoughts had come down to like almost a stop. There were no more rampant thoughts going on. Everything was slowing down. My body, I could breathe. No more sweating. Heart rate slowed down. Then we go to number 6. This is when, now that I'm fully in the moment and I'm fully climbing into that adult chair, remember, in our adult, we speak from fact and truth in this very moment. Not the adolescent, remember, because it's the ego is only living in the past and future. So that's why this anxiety happens, because we're in the future going, oh my God, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And then that will never happen and all of this. And what I did with number 6 is I sat in the moment. I said, okay, what's fact and truth in this moment? And again, I'm still rocking, but do what's best for you. If you're in this place, if you feel like not rocking, then don't rock. You got to find out what's best for you and your body. So I said to myself, you know what? My kids have gotten, and I have gotten closer this year, more now than in their whole life. In their whole lives, I should say. We have a solid relationship, and I don't feel like that's going to change. In fact, I think it's only going to get more solid. The next thing I talked about was I had a lot of truths about my husband. I'm like, my husband and I We communicate so well. We talk about everything. Oh, I'm like, no matter what happens, we're going to be fine. But right now, everything's fine. In this very moment, everything's fine. Next, the mentor that I really love. I don't need to hire her right now. If it's overwhelming me, then slow the heck down, Michelle. Slow down. If it feels too rushed, wait. She's not going anywhere. Slow it down. So there were many truths like this. I just started talking about, like, for right now, I'm okay. I don't need to do anything because right now all I'm doing is looking in the backyard and my life is good right now. Everything's okay. So my mind, here's the thing. This is key. If I had to add a 6B, so 6A would be list your facts and truth. 6B, this is key. When you're listing your facts and truth, you have to pull it below your chin because we want the body to line up with what's happening in the mind, with our consciousness. Think about it. Consciousness, it's not tangible. It's like, it's energy, right? We want to pull that energy of, you know what? My kids and I are so close, no matter where they live. I'm going to love them and they're going to love me. Feel it. You got to pull the energy below the chin. That's key. Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. My husband and I, we're good right now. Pull it down. I'm okay. What does that feel like? You got to feel it in the body. I say this all the time. Okay, so the mentor that I love, I don't want to hire right now. How's that feel? Oh, I relax. Okay, great. I'm not moving right now. Everything's fine. Feel it. Feel it, feel it, feel it. You've got to bring it into the body. Then the body lines up with consciousness. Then we're fully in our adult chair. So this whole process took me 20 minutes, maybe 30, but more like 20, I think. And with that, you guys, I was back in presence and I was in peace. Anxiety was 100% gone. I do not say that with any exaggeration. It was gone. And panic was at bay. It was gone. Like none of it around. It was over. Like the whole episode was over. And I sat here, of course I sit here now and I'm like, I'm so grateful because what a learning that was. What a learning that was. And I'm so happy that I can share it with you guys. It was a wild ride. Really, for that walk was like crazy. When I was walking, it just kept getting worse. But I really wanted to share this experience with you guys because I know I'm not the only one. So whether it be you're just experiencing anxiety or you're someone that experiences panic, slow it down, get in the body, do these 6 steps, especially 6B, where you're bringing that new truth in the body. This will change you. I promise. I promise. These steps right here, these 6 steps are phenomenal to do. Even if you're not in anxiety and panic. Like if you're not a meditator, practice these things every day. And if you are a meditator, do these with your meditation. These 6 things, powerful steps to peace. Because if you want to live in peace, do these every day or as much as you can. Anyway, okay, I hope this helps. Would love to hear what your experience is like with this. If you're someone that does experience anxiety, I'd love to hear from you. So shout out on social media and let's hear about it. Love to hear from you guys. Okay. That's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And I will be talking to you next week in February, seated right here in my adult chair. Have a great week, you guys.